Hello, everybody. I'm Ryan from Fireside Yankees, and I'm very excited to talk about today's topic, and that's whether Michael King could be a starter or not. Now, we're going to break down everything Michael King does well from a pitch shape perspective, his results, kind of talk about that Astros start a little bit. So if you guys like this type of content, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. You guys know you guys can check out Empire Sports Media for all your New York sports content. We've got written articles there all the time. You guys can check me out on Twitter at Ryan Garcia ESM. So without further ado, let's get started looking at his pitch mix. And I want to shout out my guy at Cardinals Reek on Twitter. Jacob does an excellent job with graphics, and he helped me make these player cards, or well, not really helped me. He made them. I'm not a very smart guy. But, looking at, these graphics, I think they're really well done. I think they present a lot of the important information we're looking for when it comes to pitch shape. So looking at his most used pitch, it's the sinker. And when we're looking at that pitch usage chart, you're looking and you're saying, man, he kind of mixes in everything pretty evenly. And that's a good way to describe Michael King. This is a guy who's going to throw the kitchen sink at you. He's got 4 pitches, and he'll make sure you see all 4 of them. And that's what makes him so good. It's that, ability to mix in 4 different pitches that serve 4 different distinct purposes. And that sinker, which, is his most used pitch, and it's his primary pitch against righties as well, which understandably so. We'll get into that in a little bit. It's a pitch that you can get called strikes on. It's not a high whiff pitch. It gets a lot of soft contact. It has a 1-degree launch angle against. So batters are struggling to elevate that pitch. And it's gotten good results. So overall, when it comes to getting called strikes, just being an easy, reliable pitch to throw for strikes and know that if batters swing at it, he's going to pretty much get a good result. Like more times than not, if they swing, they're going to chop it into the ground. And if they don't swing, he's probably getting called strikes. So overall, it's a pretty good pitch, and it sets up the rest of his arsenal. That next used pitch, you've got the sweeper, his big breaking ball. That's the pitch that's kind of, become his bread and butter and the thing he's known for. And it's what elevated him from okay depth arm back in 2021, early on that season, to in the summer, you're like, man, this guy can really pitch. He is a really good reliever. And that sweeper is an excellent pitch, a 42.9% whiff percentage, a 144 stuff plus. It gets 18 inches of horizontal break at sweeper average velocity, which is 81.7 miles per hour. That's pretty average. So, when you're getting average velocity with well above average movement, you've got a good thing going for you. And from that lower slot, yes, you expect sweepers to be thrown from a lower slot, but he's got a cross-body action there. So, he kind of slings it across his body. He's got a little bit of a weirder arm slot than most pitchers. Certainly not to the point where it's uniquely his own, but it's definitely a different look. And it helps play up that sinker and that sweeper. And it also helps play up the vertical deception he has going on with that 4-seamer and the changeup. Now, the sinker sweeper, it plays well to righties because it relies on horizontal movement. You've got a sinker that can go 17 inches arm side, and the sweeper that can go 18 inches glove side, and that's coming from the same arm slot. So as a hitter, you have to pick that up quickly and know to swing, and not just know to swing, but also get your bat to where the ball's going. And those are 2 really difficult things to do for a righty. They don't pick up horizontal movement from righties or same-handed pitchers as well as they pick up vertical movement. And for lefties, it's the opposite. They pick up horizontal movement from righties a lot better than they do vertical movement. And in Michael King's case, he's got a good enough 4-seamer and a really good changeup so that it allows him to work well vertically as well as he can horizontally. So looking at that 4-seam fastball, a little bit faster than the sinker. It has a completely different movement profile. It almost looks like he inverts the horizontal and vertical break. And I think that's a good thing, right? You don't want a situation where a guy has as much horizontal break as you do vertical break on your fastball. Typically, those result in dead zone fastballs, and those pitches are very easy to hit. So from a lower slot, it allows his fastball to look like it has less drop, or looks like it's, rising almost. And look, a 4-seam fastball, or any pitch for that matter, cannot rise. And that's physically impossible. But with that being said, you can give the illusion to a batter, and really all that matters is the batter's perception of a pitch. You can give the illusion that that pitch is riding up on them or having that rising action. Look at Garrett Cole, Nestor Cortez, Carlos Rodon. Batters who have faced those guys will tell you, yeah, when their fastball is going well, it looks like it's rising and it's hard to get on top of. So his 4-seam fastball, a solid whiff rate at 25%, definitely down than years past, but his velocity on that 4-seamer has also gone down a little bit in comparison to years past. It's gotten better throughout the season, but in terms of results, it's still an excellent pitch. A 278 WOBA against 213 batting average to the 211 expected average, a 289 expected WOBA. Yes, he's getting hit hard on that pitch at 90.2 miles per hour, but they're not, ever generating the type of contact that is good enough to really overmatch the high strikeouts and the lack of walks he gets on that pitch. So in terms of strikeout rate, it's 32.8% on that pitch. It's actually his best strikeout pitch. It's his a reliable put away option against lefties or righties. and it sets up his final pitch, and that's his changeup. Now, look, he uses his changeup far less than his other pitches, but he's amped the usage of this pitch this year, going from 9.6% last year to 14.5% this year. I think part of that is he knows he has less velocity to work with, and he can't just spam the fastball and hammer that pitch against righties or lefties. But also, that changeup is straight up just a really good pitch. A 136 WOBA against, a 40.4% whiff rate, a 100 average flat. I mean, they just can't hit that pitch. And look, yes, it's his least used pitch, and yes, it's his worst pitch and stuff plus by far at 74. But here are the two factors here that we have to evaluate. We're talking about a pitch that's used as, little as that changeup, but has the results as dominant as that changeup. It's a situational pitch. It's a pitch that you use against lefties on 2 strike counts, or to get them to expand from the strike zone, or get a swing and a miss, whatever it may be. It's a very situational pitch. And because of that, there are not a lot of moments where he's going to be using it, right? You're not in 2 strikes against left-handed batter frequently. And so it's hard to find situations to employ that changeup, and that's fine. Using pitches when they should be used exclusively is a good thing. Yes, he'll throw a changeup every now and then to kind of just throw batters off, but for the most part, he's using the changeup when he needs to, and that's why the results are as good as they are. And that's why he shouldn't really just decide to, all right, let's just throw 30% changeups, let's say. His pitch would become significantly less effective, and his arsenal as a whole would get worse. Now, the Stuff Plus doesn't really like changeups. They don't do well with the pitch. The average changeup Stuff Plus is like 86. And Soros actually came on a podcast I do on the side called Caught Looking with my friend Max Greenfield, where he was talking about arm speed. He was talking about the importance of how arm speed plays into a changeup, and we can't quantify those things publicly. Yes, teams and organizations have private and kind of internal metrics and do record biomechanical data, but we don't have that. And so because of that, we can't properly grade changeups right now. And so a lot of them are overperforming their Stuff Plus numbers, and that's the situation with Michael King's changeup. So we've established that he has pitches that, work vertically, work, to righties, to lefties. He has horizontal pitches like the sinker and the sweeper that work well to righties. He's got what he needs to deal with both righties and lefties. Now the question is, can he pitch deep enough into games? And we don't know the answer to that question. Yes, he completed 5 innings against the Astros, but a guy who can only pitch 5 innings a start, I mean, I guess in the modern game that works as a starter, but he's only done it once. He has to show that he can do it consistently. And if he can do so consistently, the formula is there, right? They had Brito work, I believe, 3 innings out of the bullpen that day. I think it was like 2 1/3. And then they handed it to Loaizaga and Holmes, and they pitched a great game that day, right? And if you look at what they do really well, it's their bullpen. Their bullpen's always been very good. Speaking of Johnny Brito, he has a 1.27 ERA out of the bullpen, so there is that natural piggyback option off of Michael King already in the organization. And as a duo, these two guys could be really good. These two guys could keep you in games, and you have to be innovative in baseball. I understand that Michael King wouldn't be a traditional 5th starter until he builds himself fully into that role, and it's a question mark whether he ever could. But even if he can't, even if it's 4 to 5 innings and that's what you get out of Michael King, that bullpen, having Johnny Brito, having Randy Vasquez, maybe having Will Warren or Clayton Beater, you could look at Richard Fitz, maybe Drew Thorpe earns a spot, who knows, right? But looking at their pitching depth, they've got the guys necessary to piggyback off of Michael King and get those innings. And if you look at financially where the Yankees need to put a lot of their assets and, looking at where they need to be trading for guys, it's in their lineup. So having guys internally who can pitch for you and get you cheap innings and do so effectively might just be better than signing a 5th starter. If Michael King is a 3.8 ERA guy, or what he has been as a starter, which is a 2.89 ERA, and he's doing it on like 3, 4, 5 innings, and then Brito comes out of the bullpen and gives you like 3 ERA production out of the bullpen, and you just hand it to the top guys, whether it's Loaizaga or Holmes, kind of your normal script, you can kind of, Frankenstein a really good 5th starter. And it's untraditional. It's something that, goes against the traditional starting role. But if you're doing it for just one of your rotation spots, you should be fine. And you do have guys like Drew Thorpe, again, Johnny Brito, Randy Vasquez, who can take over in terms of being a 5th starter if King were to get hurt, or if the experiment doesn't work, or whatever it may be. But should the Yankees be investing heavily in a 5th starter when, number one, you don't think a 5th starter is going to make a playoff rotation, and number two, you need to invest so much into an offense that looks dead this year? I think that the Yankees might benefit from trying this out with Michael King. I think Michael King can do the job. I think he has the arsenal. And I overall think the fan base can get behind the idea of the Yankees innovating on the pitching side of things, where they've done a great job. And you could sell that to the fan base as well as sell it to, internally, where that really is what matters most. I don't really care about fan perception, but I understand organizations kind of do. But overall, when you're looking at what this can mean for the Yankees, it opens up a lot of opportunities. it allows them to get creative there. It allows them to flex their bullpen strength. It allows them to save a little bit of money and then put that into different positions. Maybe the Yankees can sign a different outfielder. Maybe the Yankees sign, another infielder to help their lineup. Whatever it may be, the Yankees can, have a little bit more financial flexibility. And I think it's overall the move that they should end up going with. Now, I don't know what 2024 looks like. I do know that for the rest of the year, they should keep trying this. That's how I feel. That's what I think makes sense for them. But I do think there's a world in 2024 where Michael King's the 5th starter, and that works out for the Yankees. So with that being said, I'd love to know what you guys think in the comment section below. Talk to me about what you guys think Michael King should do. Is he a starter? Is he a reliever? Should the Yankees go out and get a starter externally? Is there someone in the system you think should be that 5th starter? Let me know in the comment section below. And you guys know to check me out at Ryan Garcia ESM on Twitter. Check us out on various social media platforms at Fireside Yankees. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace out.